Welcome to Bandit Sunset Crafts. I'm Lena. Thank you for joining me today. As always, if you want to like and subscribe, that way you'll get notified when I post any of my craft or yoga videos on Bandit Sunset Crafts, as well as you can follow my blog at banditsunsetcrafts.com. I would love your support. It's really appreciated. And today we're going to talk about sewing, because I have been using my Project Runway Brother Sewing Machine quite a bit, and I've been doing a lot of fixing things. And I've also been making a few items, and I've been having a lot of fun learning how to use it and practicing. And I'm going to talk to you about a few of the projects that I've been working on. The first one is actually just fixing my little bag here. I have this bag to go with my Pioneer Woman lunch bag that I carry everywhere, and it has knitting and sewing notions hidden in here all over the place. But I had problems with it over the summer. It started to catch on the zipper, and so I didn't want it to break, so I kind of came up with an idea of using my sewing machine, and then I went in and I sewed along the top underneath the zipper. And it was kind of interesting because I couldn't sew all the way around because it has the giant seam in here. So what I did is I sewed about a ½ inch below the zipper as far as I could go, probably from about here where my finger is all the way over to here. So I covered all but the last ½ inch, and I did it on both sides. And then you can see the other side here. And what it did is it fixed my bag because it was eating the lining. Like right here, if you look, you can tell how it's all crumpled up. It's because my zipper kept catching on it and it was eating the lining. And if I didn't do something, I would have destroyed the bag. And this was in the summer that I did this. And it is March now, and it zips perfectly still. And I have absolutely no problems with it. It's my house. The dogs are having fun with a toy. So that's one thing that I fixed. I had so much fun fixing that. Also, my son's blanket had a hole in it. And this is the first time that I had sewn on quilted fabric. And so I was able to, I pinned all the edges of the blanket. He did it right on a seam, so it was much easier. And I pinned the seam so that it worked perfectly. And since it was already done, I just used black on one side and the closest pink that I could find on the other. And then I just sewed a line to make sure that it attached, and I actually did pretty good. My son's happy with his blanket, and he's able to use it again, and it survived the wash today. So it's been washed 2 times and it's still holding up, so I'm pretty happy with that, and my son loves it. And another item that I've done is these are I saw somewhere weighted pattern weights, little pattern pillows, and you can put them on your patterns and they hold it down a little bit. So it's this little itty bitty weight. This was out of scrap yarn from the mask that I was making over the summer. So I made a nice little pillow, and it works really well because I found that I'm one of those sewers that when I sew along, when I pull a pin, I just kind of drop it. which causes all kinds of chaos because you know as well as I do that those pens go everywhere, especially in your carpet. And so having one of these is very handy right next to the sewing machine. That way I can make sure and put them in the little pin cushion. And I folded it in half, and then I sewed around 2 of the 3 sides and part of the 4th one, and then I filled it up with rice. And so now I have this cute little pattern weight and pin cushion, and I made 3 of them so far out of scrap yarn that I had. And I've used these all the times because this is always sitting next to my sewing machine. So anytime that I sew and I start pulling out the pins that are holding any of my pattern pieces, they go in here instead of all over the tabletop and all over the carpet and wherever else they roll off to. And my dog, if I use a tomato, she thinks it's a toy. She will steal it and depin it. And you'll find pins some random location in the house. And I found she doesn't do the same thing with this. I have not had any problems with Mac yet. Una doesn't. She steals the tomatoes all the time. But Mac doesn't have a problem with this one. And so this has been a really good lifesaver for me because I haven't had to find out the chaos of when Una steals the tomato and depins it for me. And so that's been really helpful. And also I have been like hemming some pants and some dresses. And I actually bought a shirt for my grandpa's funeral. I got it so it said, it was way too long. This was almost a dress on me. It went like 3/4 the way down my thighs. So it was really, really long. So what I did is I pinned it up and then I cut off the excess fabric and then I made a hem on the bottom. And it's the right length now. It's the perfect size and I absolutely love it. And so my next project is with the shirt that I'm wearing. I really like this shirt, but it's almost a little too big and baggy. So what I'm wanting to do is go through and redo the sides so that I make it a little slimmer for me. And another item I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to look up ways to fix this beautiful skirt that I have. I'm 4'11.5", let's be honest. One of the problems when you're 4'11.5", this skirt, I can literally pull it up all the way above my bust and I can wear it as a 3/4 length dress, which means as a skirt it's really long. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you the fabric at closer angle because it's this black and charcoal, but then if you look really closely you can see little flowers and leaves in it. Or I hope you can see flowers and leaves in it because it's hard to tell if this would show up on the camera or not. But I really love the fabric. There, I can barely see it. If the light hits it, you can see the little flowers and leaves on it. And I really love the fabric. So I'm wanting to come up with a way to make it into a little dress. And so those are my 2 next projects that I'm hoping to do so that I can make some use of that Brother Sewing Machine. And I've been using it quite a bit, so, which I'm really happy with. That was one of the main reasons I didn't buy a sewing machine before, is because I thought it'd just sit there and I wouldn't use it. But this year alone, I've made about 30 masks. I've made my 3 pin cushions / paper weights. I fixed a blanket I've fixed my little pouch that goes in my bag, and I've hemmed pants and skirts that I've owned for ages and didn't pin. So I'm pretty happy. I've been using it quite a bit. And I want to thank you for joining me. And next time you can see how I do on making a smaller shirt, making this shirt fit better, as well as adventures in trying to make this into a little dress. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining me.